Swoosh Life Podcast. Season 3. Back like Jay-Z said Mike was, wearing the 4-5, episode 45. We're coming at you. We're coming at you. We're back. Swoosh Life Podcast is here today. I don't know if I like this look on YouTube, so we're going to switch it back to our normal look. There we go. But welcome back to the Swoosh Life Podcast. We are here. We're ready to get rolling. Boys, how are we doing out there?
Doing great, boys. It's good to see you after a little break, after a couple of weeks. Gumby, you look a little brighter. Did you put a little makeup on today, or
I got a little makeup on YouTube.
A little O-ring makeup session?
Yeah. So YouTube ready. Go watch us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, smash that follow button, get the bell on. I don't know. We're not YouTubers. We're podcasters. But also subscribe and listen to us on anywhere you can find your podcast. So feeling good, looking good. Swung the sticks this weekend, boys. Went out and played some simulator golf. Don't go to a simulator with 5 people. Especially especially the people that don't know how to play golf.
Did it just become a long drive competition?
Fun time, great time. Like, really appreciate the invite and everything like that. Really appreciate the company with everyone. But we got through 4 holes in 3 hours. Like, it was bad. Maybe we got through 6, but it was.
Were the carts broken on the simulator? Why was it taking so long?
No, because you don't know how to play golf. They take, like, up the fairway.
Oh, there's no picking up. Got it.
Yeah. So it was interesting, but it was fun, and I think I'm going back out on the indoor range on Wednesday. So
nice.
Weekends for you guys. Matt, I know you've been all over the place, crazy busy.
Crazy busy. But you know what I want to know about simulators? Have you ever seen how to tap into the menu on a golf cart to take the governor off and go? I wonder if there's a cheat code in a simulator. If you hit the ball backwards, does it automatically go in the hole or something?
I'm telling you, if the simulator was correct and it had ball speed numbers and stuff like that, I'm spinning my driver spin rate was over 3,000, which I don't like, but it's not terrible, but it's not great. I'm definitely losing some distance. But yet I hit a 280 drive. I don't hit 280 drives. I hit 260 drives. So I'm intrigued if that is the case. It's really the 3-wood. The 3-wood was a rocket the other day. So I hit one that was 240. I was like, what? So if those numbers are correct, man, I'm ready. I'm ready for the season. And we got all that snow 2 weeks ago, and when you guys were talking, I think we got more over the last week, and it's gone already. It is gone.
I will temper your expectations just with a quick story of my own. Is that you're always going to hit the ball farther in a simulator because you're hitting off of a hard mat, so there's more compression, and it's what I've talked about. I got out for 9.
At least on a tee.
Yeah, driver's on a tee, so driver's pretty legit. I'm with you on that. Yep. But yeah, man, I thought I figured my irons out. I told everybody my irons were great. I got out for 9. It was super windy, and yeah, I just don't know how to golf. I don't. That's it. I've come to the conclusion after playing this game for 15 years. Can't do it.
You can't switch irons this year either.
I know. This is very concerning. Any type of wind, this thing is getting knocked down. So I don't know, but we'll be okay. But speaking of, we'll be okay. I feel like we can finally score and talk about what's coming up. Gumby, your favorite major's coming up.
Boom.
My gosh, we can finally score these things. We've talked about them a couple episodes. Now's the time to score the Masters releases. Now, today on this episode, we are going to score the NXT, which was shockingly uncovered by an LPGA star, posted that she got them. She was rocking these. There's an image of the Victory Tour 3. It looks like that is going to be the official name, according to rumors. And then the Airmax 1, which was on the sneaker news and places like that. So we're gonna score these, talk through each one. I feel like we should. I think Gumby, I'm gonna let you pick because this is your major. This is your release. where do you want to go with this? Which one are we starting with?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've already started putting together my master's menu for internal purposes and external at the office and stuff. Fun fact: at the office, my boss actually bought the master's pack that the actual master's is selling. So we will have official master stuff in office for our office party that I normally throw. So I'm very excited about that. I want to start with the newest one that we've seen, which is I think the Victory Tour 3 maybe is maybe the newest.
That's what everybody's calling it. They're calling it the 3. I mean, it would make sense. There's not a lot of 2.5, 1.5 iterations in golf.
So I want to start with that one because that one seems to be like the most basic of them, and then we'll kind of go to Keith's favorite and then back to my favorite a little bit. So but that seems to be the most basic one. The upper is mostly all that white, looks like suede a little bit. There's a little bit of that peachy, yellowy orange on the heel cap. On the bottom, there's that green coming through from the eyelets on the AM1 and stuff like that. That's coming through on the inside.
The sock liner, yeah,
and everything. So, but we have the Always Fresh sticker carrying over through all three of them, and the black Nike, at least a solid on the VT3 and the AM1, not solid on the Next Percent. So that is interesting as well. But overall, love the details on these, and super excited to see 3 versions of them. You know, we got the AM1 a while ago now, over a month ago, I think, and seeing that out was like great. But now to see the other 2 pop up is really, really cool. Keith, your thoughts on the Next Percent?
Ooh. It's one of my favorites so far because I'm not 100% sold on the new colorways of the Next Percents that came out for this year. So throwing a yellow, you know, with the suede on there, I'm sold on this one. I hope to grab it when it comes out. I'm a big fan. You know, it's something different than having like a blue upper, or a white upper or a black upper. Your traditional white and black, even though I love that because it just goes with anything. But man, the yellow just makes it pop. The Georgia Peaches, the design. I think Nike is already starting off hitting the ball out of the park with a major release right here with the Masters coming up in a couple weeks. I don't know. I love it. I really do.
So the NXT, the Next Percent, almost too much tangerine for me. I'm sorry, and I don't know if it's
tangerine
because
or yellow. It's because I consider tangerine more of the orange, and I don't think there's enough orange in it. I don't think there's enough peachy. It just feels
peach, yeah,
too yellow. At least on the AM1, you've got like these roundedness that like these little patches that push up and push in, that round that shoot a little bit more because it's like shading on it. The Next Percent just almost gets to too flat of yellows in some spots.
I agree. I almost wish that the toe portion was like a different shade or like an even darker shade, like to set it off, or even just go black. And I think the thing that bothers me on the Next Percent is in the sock liner, it's white, and then that cuff that goes towards the back of the heel and around your ankle, that is also white. So it looks like you're wearing a rolled over sock for a second. So the Next Percent, I dig it though. Like, you know what? Like if you're a yellow person, I'm not a yellow person, or an orange person. It's very loud. I like the contrast in the Airmax 1, the way that they did that. Yeah. Now the thing on the Victory Tour 3, if they're gonna pitch this as a white peach, like, okay, this is the white peach. It's got like, and I wonder if like in person we're gonna get like a little bit more subtlety in this, and like a little bit more of the orange and the peachiness will kind of be seen through. So yeah, I don't know which way I'm gonna go. I don't know which way I would like. We're gonna do ranking and scoring, so I don't know how we're gonna rank these. Should I just go ahead and do my ranking now?
Yeah, I think so, and I think we're showing them on YouTube. We want to make sure that we're talking to our listeners on podcasts as well, and I think that look up these pictures, see them on our Instagram, everything like that. The toe cap is what we're talking about on the next percent. That could be a little bit more orange. There's not any like green elements coming through in the next percent other than that air bubble on the front on the forefoot. So, which is also, I mean, the air bubble in the Airmax 1 looks green, and so are the eyelets. So I'm intrigued to see where it comes in on the next percent. That little hint of green, because it's definitely needed on it. I think it pulls in the rest of the piece of that little leaf kind of aspect of a peach. So those are my last like points about it. I love all of them.
Like, for the next percent, you can kind of see in the pictures. I know we haven't had like the full release of the, all the sides of the shoe and stuff, but you can kind of see the bumps and bruises like on a peach in the next percent. There's the reddish stuff. That's more, you can see that a little bit more than like on the AM ones. Now, I agree with you, Matt, on the AM ones, how it like almost like an ombre of the color kind of thing coming through.
The contrast between the white that pops through on the toes and everything, and the heel, and even the sole, the midsole, really I think is what sets the AM one for me above it. But we'll get into rankings and everything. On all of them, I believe too, the sole has the always fresh on each foot. So that is also a great detail. I'm intrigued to see what the liners look like, the insoles, because that is always like a little detail. Yep. And I know that we got a closer look from Ryan Mullen on the AM90s from the Players Championship, that when you pulled out the insoles, there was actually more to the treasure map underneath the insoles as well. So I'm intrigued to see if there'll be anything more like that on these. I doubt it, because I don't think there's anything like treasury to this. But I'm still intrigued. I really like them, and they all have the like basket weave little patch on the tongue as well. The top toe. So
I think the last two things for me is I like how the produce sticker on the Victory Tour 3 goes over the swoosh a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think I saw another picture somewhere. Somebody had a picture where, the swoosh is like, cut around the produce sticker. So it looks cool. And I think, what would be really cool on this next percent, if it comes with green laces.
Ooh,
just do green laces with it.
Yeah.
And I think that would set it off. So the interesting thing here is I don't think my scores are going to go in line with my rankings, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to I'm going to kick it off. So here's my rankings. Number 1, the shoe that I am most likely to buy. Number 1, Victory Tour 3. I just feel like the white peach, for me, it's going to go with more of the stuff that I have in my wardrobe. And it's a spiked Nike shoe. So I'm going to play the heck out of it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's number 1 for me. Number 2 would be Air Max 1. Number 3 would be the NXT. So let's do our rankings first. Yeah. How about that? And then we'll go to Keith. Keith, what are your rankings on these?
Well, I love how we all like a different shoe out of these.
Yeah,
I agree. Cool. And it's not like, this is not everybody out there. This is not scripted at all. No. We just go through, we set everything up what we're going to talk about each episode, but we all love every different shoe that Nike comes out with. It's cool. We, I think that's why we jive. But number 1, next percent, Matt, screw you. Come on.
I'm not surprised how much you have taken to the next percent, but I remember like last year you getting it, you liking it a little bit, and then it like slowly has increased in popularity, I think, for you, for like overall shoes that you've probably worn like ever through Nike, which is really cool to like see. And so it's kind of a no-brainer going there, but I love that you like it so much, as well. So, and
I love the fact that like I said, the upper's not black or white. It's just like a new color. I was hoping the gray ones that came out, I wish the pink wasn't there. I'm not a big pink person, but I'm sold on these ones. Like I said, number 1, next percent, I'm going to go right in order. Number 2, VT3, and number 3, sorry, Gumby. I love the Air Maxes, but I'm just going to go 3 with the AM ones.
Yeah, I can respect that. I can as I know you as a golfer and your golf style. I get that for sure.
And I'm with Matt. Sorry, Gumby. I'm with Matt with the cleated bottom, though.
Yeah.
You get next percent is kind of cleated, but the Victory is full cleat.
Yeah. my rankings, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, especially someone that loves color. And, it's Airmax week. We got a whole rankings of Airmaxes coming up later in the show. AM1 is my top one, is my number one. I think the contrast just beats the rest of them. And I just am loving those. So mainly because it's a shoe that I can wear out and about. Like I like the yellow and orange spring, summer day, whatever, but also because it's you can wear that in the office. I just talked about my master's party every year. I'm wearing those every year to the master's office party, no doubt. So excited about that. Stick with color going to next percent, and then the VT3 in my third place. So I like white peach as a drink. Not sure if I like it as a shoe. And I like white shoes too, So,
I know that's the surprising thing, but you know what?
It's too off-white for me. I think it looks, it looks like I'm going to get them super dirty compared to like I don't know how I'm going to clean these.
That's exactly.
See, and that's why I like it, because I don't like all white shoes, and that's why
they get dirty.
Yeah, like the Barely Volt Victory Tour 2s that I talk about all the time, the corks, right? Like I absolutely love that. So how would you score these now? So we know how you've ranked them. What are the scores you're giving to these three shoes? So I'm guessing the AM1's a 5.0.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like a pizza review guy, and I won't give a 5 to anything. But these are, I wish I remember exactly what I gave lobsters last year, the AM90 lobsters, because I think if I gave it a 5, then this is a 5. Yeah, it's just like my daughter's bedroom nursery is all peach themed. Like I'm tempted to just put these in a case and just put them in her room. You know what I mean? Like I'm tempted to get the kids version of them for her. So that's the 5 for me. My second place was the next percent. I would say they're a good 4.6. Like they're up there. Like they really are. I'm intrigued to see. I don't think we've seen the soles of those. And I think they would have them. The Always Fresh on it, and then again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the VT3s. They just fall into my third spot, and I'd still give them like a good 4.1. So they're still up there,
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm a big fan of the AM1s. So this might sound weird, but I think it's gonna be my highest ranking out of the three, numbers wise. Like I would give. Just because of the design and more of us talking about it and looking at it more, how the colors break up and how you could see, like I said, like the ombre color of the peach on the shoe, the front toe there and everything. I would give the AM1s a 4.8. It's a high score for me, but I really, really, really enjoy them. Next percents, I'd probably give a 4.5, and the VT3s, I'd give a 4.0. Just maybe a little bit more color. Just a little bit more color in there.
See, that's what I was talking about, is like the rankings, because the style of the shoe and like the wearability of the shoe is going to affect our rankings and like our buying decisions, whereas the score is going to be different. Now, the one thing I'll say is like, man, did they knock it out of the park in terms of like, these will be a collection that is very desirable. Like the lobster thing, like when they nail something like this is the kind of shoe that becomes a collectible that people will wear year after year and like brag about having. Like no offense to like, I think about the winged foot ones, right? Where they just kind of printed the logo all over.
Yeah.
Nobody really brags about wearing the winged foot ones, right? But then like the tie-dyes in San Francisco, people love those. Yeah. The lobster from last year, like they crushed this one. So people will be bragging about these for a very long time. So my highest ranked one is the Airmax 1. I'm giving it a 5.0. And here's why I'm giving it a 5.0. Is because I think about, would I do anything different on the shoe? And the answer is no. They nailed it. It's perfect. I'm with you, Gumby. My thing about the Airmax 1, I haven't played in it yet. So if I can confirm that like I wouldn't slip in it, like that, then like the playability goes through the roof for me, right? Like NXT. I'm gonna rank my Victory Tour 3 a 4.6 with a caveat. Please release these, Nike, by the way. Please release these, because we didn't get like a lot of Victory Tour 2s. Did we get any Victory Tour 2 major editions last year? I don't think we did.
I don't believe so. They were out there. They got
in the market. They're out there.
People. I know that one chef that you follow, Matt, got one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
3
so
pieces of pecan got him, and he was,
yeah.
giving them away, but they weren't my size, so I didn't enter. But I will say this: I will say if the ombre effect is there, Keith, or what if there's like those magic pillows, and when you brush them one way, they're white, and you brush them the other way. I mean, that's gonna be a 5-5. I'm throwing out nonsense every single one of these episodes, but yeah, this one's a 4-6 for me. And then the NXT, if it comes with an extra set of laces that are green, so I can really make this thing pop, like I'm probably like a 3-8 on these. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about this one. Now, what I know a lot of people are not excited about, and we're going to transition to a little equipment talk here, is the rollback of the ball. Big news in social media this past 2 weeks. A little bit of that tour talk before we go to break. Guys, the ball is going to be rolled back. Now, I'm not going to go through all the specifics because I didn't bother to read it. In fact, Brandel Chambly made a post, and I just decided he made a post using Rory's swing from the PGA Championship. So I just decided to put my signature song on top of that because I'm like, okay, Brandel, not going to read this, just going to listen to Hall of Fame. But the question is, we're finally talking about bifurcation, right? Like the pros are going to play a certain type of ball, amateurs are going to have their type of ball. Good for the game, bad for the game. Give me all your thoughts. And I want to go to our resident professional golfer here, Mr. Keith. What do you think about the ball rollback?
Oh, you know what? I caught up a little bit about it today just to see what's going on with it. And I'm just like, and then Gumby brought up a good thing, like baseball does. There's different baseballs out there. There's a souped up baseball and not a souped up baseball. I'm like, and I'm talking to him about like, there's not a souped up football, and there's not like a souped up hockey puck or anything, or basketball or anything. So it's just like golf's an individual sport. And I feel like these guys that are on tour, all these guys are playing professionals, they have played. Everybody plays with the same equipment, same ball. And I feel like if you're going to be the best of the best, and you have to work your way up to be the best of the best. So you have to swing your own swing. So I don't think rolling back a ball is really going to do too much. Nowadays, the ball changing back in like 02, 03 era and stuff like that, people are hitting the ball further. I just saw the stat that the average went up from 275 yards to 297 yards, almost a 20-yard difference with the new technology and everything like that. But let's not forget, a lot of these guys now are in shape. They can swing faster. I'm going to bring up Bryson for a second, but he's swinging out of his shoes, pounding the ball. You think redesigning a golf ball, he's not going to hit the ball 320 anymore? These guys are still going to hit balls, they might not carry 320, but the rollouts and stuff, the courses are still going to roll out and still play the same way. So as you can tell, I'm probably not a big fan of this. I go back and forth between balls, Pro V1s, TP5s, the Bridgestone XS, the Tour. And for me, the way I strike the ball and everything, I can feel.
Sometimes Keith freezes when we're doing these, and so we'll pick up for him that he can feel the difference a little bit. And yeah, for me, the ball thing is interesting. I wonder if Nike brings balls back because then they can compete with a little, bring back in and everything. But also like there's a lot of the players are playing the same ball on tour. Titleist is the big like get and on tour. And welcome back, Keith. You can finish your your statement on all things. But I also don't think
I already forgot.
but I don't think that the ball changes swing speed and club head speed and stuff like that. And that's where people are getting their numbers from a lot now, is that they're trying to hit 200, they're trying to hit 190, like that's like big like ball speed numbers. That's different. That's what's allowing distance on tour, not the ball sometimes, Yeah. Because everyone is playing the same ball. Like you have Kevin Kisner playing the same ball as Bryson. Like Bryson's gonna be further along because his swing speed is much faster than a Kevin Kisner. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just one of those things where that I don't know how much it's going to matter. And then I'm intrigued to see what it does to like spin and stuff like that, because I think that's what like they rather have. That's what they use a different ball for, is always spin around the greens and ball flight, whether you want it lower, you want it higher, all of that stuff. And the softness, I think, is what you were alluding to, Keith, is the softness of a certain ball versus hardness. So,
right.
I don't know what it's going to do. I don't think it's going to do much. And I don't think we'll see it past 2 years.
Yeah.
So for us amateurs, it's not going to do much.
Right. So when you go to a golf store or anything like that, are you going to everybody wants a Pro V1, right? Everybody wants a Pro V1. And everybody wants whatever, the top of the line ball. Matt, making fun of me on there. Come on.
No, I just everybody knows Pro V1 number one ball in the game. That's what everybody nobody goes in the woods and comes out with a Volvic and like, oh, I found a Volvic, right?
Right.
No, I'm with you.
But I'm like, if you see those on the shelf and stuff, like, are you still they might be a little cheaper or whatever like that, but I feel like you see these top guys, a lot of people play what these top guys are playing. And it's gonna be tough to switch people to like a distance ball, but I don't know. That's just the three of us talking about it. But like I said, the biggest thing, I think, these guys still have to swing their own swing. There's more guys in shape for golf than ever before. Tiger changed this. He started working out.
Yep.
His swing was so powerful. You see all these guys coming up now. McIlroy, Bryson, Koepka. Like, it just, you see these guys in shape. Their swings are so smooth. They're pounding ball, perfect impact. The ball's still going to fly. Whatever ball you give them, I think.
Yeah, and I think for me, the interesting thing is like this distance debate has been going on, and I'll get here's a controversial take. Tiger proofing courses helped Tiger.
Yeah,
making courses longer benefited the longer hitter, which was Tiger Woods. And to your point, if you nerf the ball and everybody's ball goes the same distance or whatever you measure it by, right? Like, of course, like Bryson and Rory and these guys will still be the longer hitters. Like, it's still going to be to their advantage. So the thing I didn't like was there's like this bad faith debate of like, well, what about for the guy that hits at 200 yards? What's he supposed to do? It's like the guy that hits at 200 yards plays mojos. Okay. That guy's playing Top Flight Gamers and Pinnacles. First off, okay, like the guy that hits at 200 is not spending $50 a box on Pro V1s. Like, I'm sorry, like that's just the way it is, right? Like, we've all seen it. So I go back and forth. Now the thing was like, okay, so this distance debate has been raging on. They had to make a decision. Do we upset all the club manufacturers that are out there, or do we upset the ball manufacturers? And there's less big name ball manufacturers than there are club manufacturers, right? So, and that's probably the easiest thing. And I would say this, if they end up splitting this where the pros are playing a certain ball, will the endorsements look funny? Sure they will, right? But on the other end of it, like if you go to clubs, like we don't play the same clubs that the pros do. Like they can hot melt their stuff, they can add lead tape, they can have the $500 shafts, they can get all the sickest stuff. And we'll have Ben from the tour van on. He's on the guest list. He's been on the guest list for some time. He'll tell you, are you buying the same type of product that you could buy off the shelf? Yes. Do you have the same ability to customize that a professional does? No. Right? Like they have way more.
Not even down to shafts, you can't really. Like,
yeah, it's unbelievable. Like the amount of options they have, right? So I'm not saying if I had those options that I would hit the ball 160 ball speed, right? Like no, but I'm just saying is that they will always have the advantage. So I want to throw out some comments from our Instagram stories here. So Justin Whelan, guest for next week, quote, couldn't give less of a blank. So, we'll have Justin expand his thoughts when he's on the show next week.
Next episode.
Yeah, next episode, sorry. Yeah. Cookie, he said the pro would be maybe I'll lose less balls. I won't scream for as much because my slice will go 125 yards instead of 175 yards. Yeah, Cookie, man, I don't know what happened. Last 4 holes this weekend, I'm slicing the ball all of a sudden, and I haven't sliced the ball in 5 years. All right, LC6, amateurish BS for a professional business. Interesting.
I think that's where Keith's point was like, what other professional sport is doing this, right? What other professional sport is having a different ball for the pro side versus like I guess you could make an argument that the NFL ball is different than the college football. Like that is a thing. But like, and same thing, like I said, you can buy like a Little League baseball and like Dick's Sporting Goods, but like the MLB baseballs are tempered, they're tacked, like all of that stuff. Yes, there are those similarities to this, but it's not like, I don't know. A basketball is a basketball. Like Spalding is the official NBA basketball. I can go get that at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Was,
yeah, right. Like
Wilson took that over. Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I think I meant. But I also could play a Nike basketball because, you know, that's my preferable thing. But the lines and everything and the dimples are probably pretty similar. There were some ones where like there was a FIBA basketball and then there was an NBA basketball. I get that. So like maybe that's just what they're thinking from ball standards.
Yeah.
That, like this is the way like sort of pros do it, but like I don't know. It feels different. It doesn't. A football is a football. It's still you're gonna throw it, kick it, whatever.
Right.
But quick point, like on the Wilson thing, because Wilson makes the Duke, which is the NFL ball, and they also make some of the, depending on your conference, you might be playing a Nike football or but the college football is thicker in the middle, and maybe that's why there's all these shitty quarterbacks. Like, like you got these guys that can't throw the ball once they get to the NFL. Like, why don't they just all play the same ball?
I watched this, and this is random, but I watched this guy on YouTube. His name's Michael Turk. He's a punter professional. Played at Oklahoma this past couple of years. His uncle was Matt Turk, who was a punter in the NFL, and him talking about his like NFL process and him like trying to wear in his like the NFL balls. There's a whole like process on how they wear in like balls for punting and stuff. That I'm like, that's like it's fascinating to think that there is a different process for how you prep for the next level, due to the ball. And so like I guess that's where
do they still allow that, or did they get rid of that when Brady started his whole Deflategate thing?
No, because it's like the way that you like smooth the ball. Like the NFL balls are very smooth comparatively. So and same thing in like in punting, you want it to be smooth, you don't want dimples so that like aerodynamics wise. But so I guess maybe that's where they're coming from. Like amateur side is gonna play one ball, pro side is going to play another ball, but they're already technically probably playing a different ball anyways.
So this is my thing. S Benz 439 is going to get comment of the show from me. S Benz 439. This is what I've been saying for a very long time. They could have just narrowed fairways and grown grass slightly fuller to reduce roll, right? Like that's the way you stop these guys from getting 30 yards of roll. Right. Is just make the fairways. Now, you could say it'll end up like Zoysia fairways, like remember Bellerive, where they said the Zoysia the ball will sit up more, and then it's like they're teeing up their irons all the time. But yeah, like if they don't get 20 yards of roll, and that's to me that's the perfect like medium to slow down the game. Like growing the rough out, we've seen from U.S. Opens, it doesn't make for good tournaments. These guys can get injured more. They're gonna cry about it. Like just grow out the fairways a little bit. That's S-Benz. You got my comment to the show. And with that, we've reached the halfway point. So we're going to do a quick read from Anchor, and then we'll catch you guys on the other side.
This episode of the Swoosh Life is brought to you by Anchor. Let me tell you about them. Anchor is our partner in this podcasting journey. We're so excited that they're back as a partner and to be with them. And Anchor is the best way to start podcasting. Oh, why, you may ask? Well, let me explain. Anchor provides a free and easy solution to all your podcasting needs. They have creation tools to allow you to record, edit, and distribute your podcast right from your phone or computer, allowing your podcast to be heard all over Spotify or wherever you may listen to podcasts. We're on Apple. We're everywhere now. Not to mention that you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So what are you waiting for? Do like we did here at the Swoosh Life and download the free Anchor app and go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks for listening to Swoosh Life. Now back to the episode. And we are back. Little fun fact. Thank you, Anchor, for being our sponsor. They're now called Spotify for podcasters. So thank you, Spotify for podcasters. We probably should update the ad read, and Matt obviously does it better if you listen to our live show. our last episode. So we might just keep it in. You might be listening to me or to Matt, depending on wherever you're listening to podcasts. So, but thank you, Anchor, for what you were and now what you are with Spotify for podcasters. So happy to be here with them. So, all right, now we're here. Now we're at the big stuff. We are at what y'all came here for. Airmax Day is Sunday, March 26th, this upcoming Sunday. And we love Airmax Day. Airmax is one of our favorite shoes here at the podcast. And so we want to do a bracket. And so we put it out on Instagram today when we're recording. You're listening to this on a different day. And we got our top 16 Airmax shoes ready to show you guys. And what we'll do is we'll kind of go through it quickly on what won on Instagram. And then from there, through the polls, we will figure out what then wins to be our top Airmax shoe for this week and everything. So are we ready, boys? I got a fancy little graphic. We'll do our best to explain it on when you're listening. But if you're not, go to YouTube, watch this as well. It's really fun. So
yep.
You ready?
Yep. And I'll take you guys through that first round and you guys, the fans, decided this first round. So this is completely by your voting. You have nobody to blame but yourself. So Airmax tournament, we kicked it off with the number 1 seed, Gumby's Airmax 1 versus the Airmax Scorpion. Moving on with 98% of the vote was the Airmax 1. So resounding, no upsets on this one. Number 2 was the Airmax 95, which faced off against the number 15 seed Airmax 2017, full-length airbag there, but it did not prevail. So the gray and the neon, the different shades of gray, move on with 65% of the vote was the Airmax 95. Now, the interesting one here, so this is my top Airmax, which is the Airmax 90. It was at 100%. It was dominating the Airmax Plus 3, shutting it out until one lone vote came in from my brother, Danny Cusack, who voted once for the Airmax Plus 3, which stole the 100% victory from the Airmax 90, but that moves on. Airmax 97 was in a battle with the 13 seed, the Airmax 270, but it moves on with 67%. It pulled out late. And then the 5-12 matchup, the number 5 seed was the Airmax 96, and it got upset by the 12 seed, the Airmax 2090. Nick Spears doing a dance, 55-45 there. Chalk one up for the new guys, the newer silhouettes. The VaporMax Flyknit was the 6th seed, and it moves on with 61% of the vote over the Airmax 98. The Airmax 93, which before I joined this podcast, I didn't know it had such a loyal following, dominates as the 7th seed, 88% against the Airmax 96-2, which was our 10th seed. And then last but not least, my second and third favorite Airmax ended up in the 8-9 seed. I don't know how I did this to myself. But the Airmax Tuned Air, which has had a renaissance at Champs and Foot Lockers all around the nation. It's such a good shoe. I played every single sport in high school in this shoe, and Gilbert Arenas wore this in an NBA game for a few games, but it loses 43% to 57% to Tinker's OG, the Airmax Zero. So that is our first round recap, which you all decided. So thank you to everyone that voted. And Gumby has a magnificent bracket to take us through.
Just trying to get it all updated and everything in real time, live look. So let's get into this bracket here. So we talked about this briefly. We had the 116, and now we've got the 1-9 matchup. So we have the Airmax 1 versus the 9 seed, the Airmax 0. Let's just get into it, boys. This is our third bracket show on history. This time it's a little bit smaller instead of 64. Those ones always took up a lot, but
and you invite Spears to battle everybody.
1 versus 9. I'm happy to see that things didn't go chalk. Oh my gosh. All the way. So I'm a fan of both of these shoes. I remember when the Zero came out like recently in the past couple like within the last 10 years, and being like, man, probably should have gotten that one. especially if there's an all like white version. I think with like just a little pop of like neon in there, and so maybe it's teal, not neon, but still. I remember being like, I really like that design. I like the forefoot. I like the big swoosh on it, full swoosh, good size air bubble. But for me, I got to go with the one varsity red. This is the big bubble version that we're showing on screen, coming out here on the 24th. They did a shock drop over the weekend that both me and Matt missed out on.
But the 26th, we'll get it supposedly a 26th. So if you're listening to this before Sunday, set your alarms.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And then hopefully a golf version as well to match. We posted on our story. Also, are we getting a big bubble in the golf as well? So I am the AM1 for this round.
I'm going to go, Gumby. Everything you said about the zero is totally true. Like, it's one of the Airmaxes that I didn't get and I really want. Maybe I'll just find a pair online or something. But when this thing came out, it was like one shoe that I just wanted, but I just never had. So I'm going to go against you right now and try to do an upset over the number 1 seed and go zero. And Matt is probably going to have a heart attack because I don't know. I think he might
go 9.
Right now with the zero.
I think this is going to be.
We're not trying to do this.
It's going to be FDU over Purdue right now. I feel like
it was everything you said about the zero is like exactly what I was thinking too, because it was just one of the Air Maxes that I just didn't grab when it came out.
Okay, before I cast my vote, I just want to tell a story.
To be quite honest, so
I just want to I'll tell you a story. I had my brother and I, we both got the Airmax Zero when it came out. It always makes me wonder because the Zero was a sketch by Tinker. It's made with modern materials. If they could do that with the Airmax 1, like with the modern materials, make the upper a little sleeker, blah, blah, blah. Either way, I had find my way onto the Nike Tour van during a tournament. And my brother and I are in the Nike Tour van. We're standing there in our Airmax Zeros when the back door pops up. And I'm forgetting his name. Paul Casey's caddy. Who's Paul Casey's caddy?
Oh, Johnny Longsocks.
Johnny Longsocks is standing there. Paul Casey's bag on his shoulder, and when you're up in the truck, you're elevated, right? So he opens the door and he's looking right at our shoes and he goes, "Mate, how can you get me a pair of those?" I was like, "Oh, dude, this guy's into like this before the legend of Johnny Longsocks like came up, So he knew all about the Airmax Zero, all this stuff. I think I'm going.
You go with your heart, man. That's what these are about.
Wow, should I just coin flip it just so I can weasel out of this? I'm gonna go.
This is the year of upsets. Kansas is out. Purdue's out.
Are you trying to sell? No, Airmax 1, big bubble. You know why? Because right now, if both came out at the same time, I'd want the big bubble. So just because it's a big bubble, I'm going Airmax 1.
All right, we'll let it go.
Man,
you almost had it, man. You almost had it. All right, there we go.
Wow.
The one moves on. I was fine with both of them going on, to be quite honest. Either one. I really like the zero. I really do. Like I said, one of those things that I wish. But for the staple that is the one, it can go out later, but like it is the one. You know what I mean? Like the one. So
I still feel like this is the only potential upset for the rest of these brackets, but let's take a look. Okay, so right. Airmax 1, moving on.
2-7 here.
So I'll go quick. Airmax 95 for me. I'm going to go with the 2-seed Airmax 95 over the Airmax 93.7.
Same with you, Matt. 95.
All right. That puts me out. I said on a previous episode that I think the 93 would actually make a really fun golf shoe. And so I will just hold by my guns and say it's a 93. But the 97, these are cool. And I think they've got like a lot of like ACG ties to them as well, where they don't have to just be like a basketball or a streetwear shoe. It feels like they could be, more than that. So 97, moving on. All right. The 3 versus the 6
Ooh.
matchup. This will be interesting to see where we go here. Keith, you kick it off.
Oh, this brought back memories of my. Oh, I can't remember. They're my Nike Shocks, but they were the shocks on the whole bottom of the sole. I can't remember what series they were. Oh, but I love. This is tough. I love the full.
I think he loves something.
And he's frozen. He
All
loves
right,
it so
you,
much.
You go, and then he can be the deciding vote for this one.
I have a VaporMax Flyknit, the laceless ones. I forgot which one. We have the Oreo VaporMax Flyknit 3 pictured here for those of you that are listening. But I'm gonna go with the Airmax 90 just because it's made such a stupendous golf shoe. It gave us the Lobster 90. It's got the infrared. I still have dead stock infrared, so I'm gonna go number 3 seed here. I'm going with a favorite.
Keith, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, what are you going with here? Matt went with the AM90.
All right.
You said that the VaporMax 6 gives you some of those shock vibes a little bit.
So in my meantime, when I was frozen, they were the Nike Shocks TLs.
Ooh.
That's what they were, with the shocks all the way through the bottom, as everybody can see right there.
Ooh,
those ones.
There you go.
And I had them in my school colors: white, royal blue, and gray, and they were awesome. So when these came out, it brought back that kind of feel with the Vapor Flyknit ones. I'm going to go a little upset just because I've talked about it. I'm going to go Vapor Flyknits, and Matt whips out the 90s.
So 1-1 deciding vote to me as someone that had an AM90 birthday cake once for his 30th birthday. We're going AM90.
wow.
So that is I like the VaporMax. I really do. They were big on basketball courts for a while, and a lot of coaches wore them, stuff like that. I remember when I was doing games. So they got to be like comfortable as hell. But sometimes it's Flyknit, like wearing a sock. Like I don't know how I feel about the structure of that, pulling up what could possibly be such like a heavy bottom with how big those like bubbles can be and stuff. So it's my only rationale reason. Otherwise, I just love the 90, and we get the lobster from it. So, all right, across the bracket we go to the 4.
Ooh,
this is an interesting matchup. This is a very interesting matchup here. More interesting than I realized. My wife just got a pair of these 2090s, and they look like they're sick. She's got like an all white with a little cream. I really wanted to get these, and then I for lack of a better word, bitched out and just got 270s in all white, and I should have gotten these, but I like all white shoes. So, and then silver bullets are just classic. I don't even know where I go on this. Everyone loves a Cinderella. I'm going with the 12 seed, the 2090s. So Matt, you're going next. So Keith's the deciding vote.
No, my brother's favorite, my brother's first Airmax was the Airmax 97. My friend Chris, I come to find out his first Airmax was the Airmax 97. I myself love the Airmax 97 golf shoe. I have the black and pink one, but I just picked up another pair of the 2090. This is a controversial shoe a little bit. The thing I love about the 2090, I want to show those of you that are listening, huge pull tab in the back and a hole in the tongue. So you can just, and as I've gotten like older and I don't want to bend over anymore, but I want the shoe to go on correctly, this is such an easy shoe to get in and out of. Very stable. Love the U bottom. This thing, 2090 is my vote. There we go.
I was hoping for the 270 to move on because I just absolutely love that over the over the 97. I know that was a tough call, but it would have been cool to have a 13 versus the 12 right now with the next bracket.
Yeah,
but
I could even say that I think the 270 was a little low on Matt's rankings. I think that could have been a little bit higher than 13.
I think so too. It got late in the night. I got to say the committee was maybe Because I wanted to honor some of the heritage too. Like, could the 270 have gone like where do we have the Air Max 93? The Air Max 93 was a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe this could have been like an 11, 10, maybe over an 8 or a 9, but then you're an Air Max 0, Air Max Plus 10. So yeah, it definitely may be seated higher, maybe for next year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the upset. I love the 2090.
Full sweep.
Yep.
2090 moves on. All right.
Do you have a pair, Keith? Do you have a pair of 2090s?
I do not.
I'm telling you, once you put them on, man, everybody's like super surprised.
I would love to get a pair of those in I can't think, the Zeros.
2090 would be a sick golf shoe as well. We got to tie we tie it all into golf, but this is our Airmax show. But I think there's some really good ones here that would be like really cool. And I see some similarities between 2090s, the regular 90s, obviously some 93s a little bit, and some 70s. Like there's like 93, 270s, 90s all in like one shoe, which is kind of cool. So
that's why I love the 2090 because of its similarities to the 90. That mud guard that just speaks to me.
Yep, exactly. So all right, we are at 1 verse 12 in the final 4 our matchup. So we've got the AM1 versus the 2090. All right, let's kick it off. Matt, your thoughts?
It's just so hard because the only Air Max 1 I've had is that lunar one, and it grew on me so much. So I've never had an OG Air Max 1. And I had the Air Max 1 Golf.
I have one Air Max 1.
Oh, that's it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's my wedding shoe.
But it could be also they don't bring it out all that often.
No.
It's been a minute.
I talked to my wife about this because I know that I'm going to try and get these when they come out on the 26th or the 24th, whenever it is. I think it's 26th, Air Max Day. And I have a 14. I size up for Air Maxes. That's one thing I have to do, size up for Air Maxes. I have this for my wedding shoe. I don't tie the laces. They're like little like knots on the ends. Like the laces aren't long enough in these. And part of me is wanting to size up again for these ones because I just
in case
are a little too like they just a little snug. Like the ones are just a touch snug. And I felt that with 90s too sometimes. Right. Like a real 90 versus like the golf 90, it just gets a little bit higher and it just feels a little bit snugger. And so I'm like, I think I might be going to a 15 on these.
Wow.
Out. And it's weird because like that's huge. Like that can be huge compared to like a 13 sometimes and stuff. But comparatively to what I have as a 14 AM1, I think I'd rather have it just be a little bit bigger. And
it's safer. You could always wear extra socks, right? If it's too small, you can't wear it.
Exactly. So this has been my debate because I know that I'm going to try and get these within the next couple of days. So
man, this is a tough one for me. I know I'm going first. I know I've talked about how much I love the 2090, but I can't deny history here.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Air Max 1.
Wow. I'm gonna go 2090s. I love it. I know I don't have a pair of them, and I don't have a pair of the AM1s either. I do have different styles of the Air Maxes throughout the years, but just not our final 4, except for our Air Max 90s over there as the third seed. But 2090 for me.
Yeah, I think
I know which way you're going.
Yeah. As a designer, I've talked about this on the show a bunch. Watching Tinker, watching him on Abstract, watching him talk about the AM1, all that stuff, like the Netflix documentary Abstract. It's just a shoe that lives in and it I have an affinity for. So I'm looking forward to the revamp, looking forward to getting them in both the golf and a regular. So AM1 moves on for me. So
number 1 seed holds true. Okay.
Seed goes through as I think it should be in the Air Max challenge, in the Air Max bracket. So, all right. 2s are up, Matt. Take it away. What do we got left?
Air Max 95 versus the Air Max 90. One thing about 95s and 97s for me, every time I've tried the regular versions, And if we do get a 95 Golf, I get the feeling like the 95 is the one that we haven't gotten yet from like the classic Airmax library. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get 95 next year, but I'm going with the 90. The 90 is more wearable to me. The 95s and 97s have never like fit me correctly. So I'm going with the 90 here.
Yeah, I'm right with you too, Matt. I'm going with the 90 because it transitioned to a golf shoe, and I have regular, just streetwear of the 90s as well.
Yeah, I think this one goes. Might be our most unanimous one, especially infrared colorway. 90 moving on. So now we've got the biggest decision of our bracket. This is the championship game. This is the 1 versus the 3 seed. I think these are valuable candidates to be champion of our Airmax bracket. They both have golf implications. They both have been a golf shoe. They both have great stylings coming out in specialty shoes between the 90 Lobsters and the AM1 always fresh Peaches. This is going to be tough. And I don't know which way I'm going, so I'd like to go second, please.
I'll go first. I'm going to go first.
Do it.
I'll go first. I'm going to go 3rd seed, 90s, just because I'm very familiar with the shoe. Like I said, on and off the course. I love the styles. I love all the different colorways. I love the structure of them as well, but I'm just not too familiar with the AM ones. So I'm just going with my gut on this and what I have in the bag, and that's the Airmax 90s. Matt, we'll let it come down to Gumby.
I thought Gumby wanted to go second.
It's okay. Let it come down to me. I can do it.
You can do it? You can do it, man. You can do it.
Unless Matt stays with the 90s, and then we should make it. I don't know.
I've said before, it's my number one Airmax. My number one Airmax is the 90. I've got the Lunar 90. I've got the Flyknit 90. I've got the Golf Dead Stock Infrared 90. I have 2 other colors still of the 90. Lobster 90. Just for me, the 90, and again, I've only had the Lunar Airmax 1, but to me, the 90, I think historically was the shoe that you could be more of a cross trainer than a runner. So you could maybe play basketball or maybe do something. Remember, it was the 90s. We weren't quite as specialized as we used to be. So Airmax 90 for me, I welcome it to the Hall of Champions. It will be retired just alongside the Victory Red Polo and Tiger Woods from the last 2 Swoosh Life tournaments. But I'll let Gumby have his final words about the Airmax 1.
It's funny though, because I think putting them up against each other, that I think that I would have gone to the Airmax 90. Like I really do.
Wow.
Like as it is. So especially the infrared, there's also the Volt kind of colorway too. That was what I had my 30th birthday cake was one.
Oh yeah.
So, and I love the Lobsters so much. I play in 90s golfs all the time. Like, I think that the 90 is just they're both icons, but I think 90 became like more of that streetwear, like true icon that really propelled the Air Maxes into new heights. So
yeah, and it's interesting. You could argue that 90 is more overplayed because it's been around for so long, but also I'd argue like people haven't gotten sick of it. Like, it's still on Nike by you. Like this colorway I picked up at a Champs, like just because it's cool. Like there's so many like different color combos you can do with this shoe. So, wow, congratulations, Airmax 90.
Yeah.
So this is our full bracket as the 1 seed AM1 takes over the 16 seed. The 9 AM0 goes over the 8 seed. The 4 seed Silver Bullets over the 13 seed, the 12 seed 2090s over the 5, the 2 seed 95s over the 15 seed, then the 793s over the 10, the 3 seeded 90s over the 14, and then the 6 seeded Vapor Maxes over the 11. And then in our Elite 8, we had 95s over the 93s, 90s over the Vapor Max, the 1s over the 0s, the 2090s over the 93s, 95, 97s. Oh my goodness. Just
93.
Yeah.
7 seed. Yeah.
And then in the Final Four, the AM1 over the 2090 and the 90 over the 95s to then get us our champion of our 90, the Airmax 90 over the Airmax 1. So that is our bracket. Hell of a time. Great little intro into Airmax week, Airmax day coming up. Again, don't forget to wear your Air. Show us, tag us in your Air on Airmax Day Sunday, March 26th, while you're watching the final round of the Dell match play. You played at Austin Country Club, so that means it's time for Keith's picks. Intro music into Keith's picks or something, you know.
I love it.
The Dell match play. Obviously, we just did a bracket. This is a bracket style challenge of golf, and then March Madness is happening all at the same time. It's a great little lead in, great little like we planned it almost tease. So I have the early 2-0 lead in our season-long race for the cup, and I will probably make a cup so that we can have it and tote it around. What are we thinking this week, boys? And we won't really go through all the seedings. You can get all that on PGAtour.com. Go through C. Some of the big seedings is that Scotty is obviously a 1 seed. John Rahm is 2. I think John Rahm plays up against like Ricky Fowler. Or Scotty's playing against like Nike guy Doug Gim, all that stuff. So there's some, Rory's in there as well. All of our guys pretty much there. Tommy, Tony. So we have a bevy of people to pick from. Now the question is whether we actually decide to pick Scheffler for once or not. So
I thought that's the joke for now.
Yeah, it's gonna be the joke. Right.
We're not picking him because he's doing awesome.
Jason Day's in there.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's so many other guys that we could, put our bad juju on, right? Like I'm gonna go okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna go with Rory.
Nice, good pick. I think he's over. He's due for something. He needs a little pep start to a couple weeks from now.
Supposedly trains his driver shaft length as well.
Yeah.
And some they also tease some other equipment updates coming before the Masters. But I heard that he played the Masters recently. Also, Tiger played the Masters recently. Went out there, little scouting trips. I heard that he tore up Augusta. So,
not surprised.
We will see. We will see.
Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part that the equipment changes will. I feel so bad for Rory because he played so well. He wins in Dubai, and then all of a sudden it seems like this stuff came up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
just absolutely out of nowhere. And my brother pointed out that there were some stats out there that just overall he hasn't been playing well. So it's just I think he's hit a little slump. So wishful thinking. Hopefully he gets it together. But if he exits early and just gets to practice and relax, not the worst thing in the world either. But I'm gonna stick with my guy Rory.
I watched Tommy all weekend on Saturday and Sunday just to, finally root him on, get him a W. I even wore it tonight. I wore like a Tommy Fleetwood hat that he should have wore on Sunday, and he probably could have won the thing if I gave him this hat.
Right?
He would just, if he could definitely pull this off, because I'm trying to grow the flow back out a little bit. But I wanted to bring that up at the beginning of the podcast because I really want Tommy to win, right? Yeah. But I feel like he's played good the last couple weeks. I think he might be a little tired going into this week. So I am not going to pick Tommy. That's
what I was thinking. I'm with you there. That's a good line of thinking.
I'd like to save Tommy maybe for like a Masters pick because I feel like he'll recharge after this week. I think he might be out early and get ready for Augusta in 2 weeks from now. But one guy I like, and I don't know anybody else in his bracket, and he's a number 10th seed, and that's Tony Finau. I'm going with him.
I like that pick.
I feel like he can get out of that bracket and go
That's a good pick.
Little distance.
That is a good pick. So, down to me, the leader in the clubhouse.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I'm just going to write these down. So that is Keith with Tony. And then Matt with Rory. I wonder who I'm going to go with. I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood. He is a match play guy. Ryder Cups, everything like that. He's a match play guy. I think that he is swinging up on the momentum. Swinging up. He knows that he can do it. He just had 2 bad swings on Sunday. Tommy Fleetwood is my guy. And his bracket's not that bad.
And he just ran into a guy with a hot putter. I mean, Moore was putting out of his mind. So
we will shout out Taylor Moore on this for winning the Valspar. Former Nike guy when he was on the Corn Ferry Tour. So congratulations. And we have to shout out our girl Gabby Ruffles as winner for winning on the Epson Tour, right?
Yep, on the Epson Tour. And then 2 weeks before that, we haven't talked to you guys since our guy Scotty Scheffler won.
Yeah,
the Scotty 5th major.
Players. Unreal. So big time. Thank you guys coming through for us. And then we're leading into our favorite time of the year. So we will be off slightly next week. We'll be preparing for our Masters episode, blowout episode. We will probably be on early, get some stuff just from the 3 of us. And then Justin will be joining us for Tales from Augusta. I've got a little insider information that Augusta listened to our podcast. Yeah. And they got a little upset at Justin for some stuff that he said. So, but a little. I don't even think he said some stuff bad. So that's like, man, guys will listen to our podcast. Woo, woo, woo.
But unlike the Snake Pack, we will not be canceled.
Exactly. So, but this was a fun one. Keep you under an hour 15. Nice little listen in the car. On your, start it in the morning commute, ended on the afternoon commute. But this has been a fun one. Airmax Day. Remember, become a supporter of the podcast by going to anchor.fm/the Swoosh Life Podcast /support or /the Swoosh Life /support. I actually don't even know if it's still anchor.fm. I probably should update that. I think it still goes there because
hey, it's on them to communicate those changes.
We also we have a bunch of new supporters to the podcast. Shout out 2 of my friends. One's my sister, and then one's my friend Joe, and then Michael Bolger as well joining the supporter group. And then Keith, what do we got left for these stickers? These stickers went hot, huh?
Yeah, they went pretty hot. We got a good amount ordered in, and a lot of them went out the door. So by the time this podcast comes out, if everybody's listening on Wednesday, we have about 10 sets left. And I just want to say thank you to everybody from Gumby, Matt, and I that these stickers were created, that you guys are supporting the podcast. Here they are right here. I sent them out to everybody who's bought one so far. Matt, Gumby, Nick, Blake, you guys will all get them. Mullen, you guys will get them soon too as well. They're great. We got more things coming down the line with everything, more stickers, a little bit different designs possibly coming down the line, which are going to be great. We might. Gumby, we're getting pretty close to 900, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to let Matt do his any last words, and then I'll finish it up with a bigger announcement as well.
Can I ask one more question for you guys?
Yeah.
What Nike ball would you bring back?
Ooh.
Since we talked the balls.
It's the last one, 20XI Platinum.
Ooh.
That's me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gumby?
Yeah, resin. Yeah, I love the Proto. I still have the Proto.
I sent you the Protos. I think I sent Ryan. Did Ryan Mullen get the Protos?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have Protos?
I still have a full 12 pack of them. They won't be touched.
It's either that or the Tour D.
Oh, yeah. That was my hole in one ball.
Yeah, that's your hole in one ball. I think the hard thing though is I was meaning to mention this, and of course we're gonna go past 115 now because all right.
We still got time.
We were talking about equipment changes with the ball. The last time they really did a big equipment change is the wedge change. About a decade plus ago is when they went, the U grooves versus V grooves. Yeah. And man, remember it was so easy to chop and spin the ball. And of course, it just cut the cover like crazy. So then the balls got softer and the balls got even livelier actually. So to actually I feel like that actually helped make the ball hotter than it used to be. Yeah. Interesting Interesting thing.
Right.
I would also like to mention that I brought that up because my friend Chris still plays Victory Red wedges with those illegal grooves, and that's how he won his championship in 2020. So that whole thing is under protest. Let it be on the record. That's all you got from me.
Those are your final words, Matt? All right.
I want the Nike One ball back, the original.
There you go. All right. So as Keith mentioned, we're close to 900 followers and 1,000. We've been talking about this for a while. We're doing a huge giveaway. And so I'm going to go big screen here for me. So we really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the podcast. We're super excited. The growth over the past year, even past couple of weeks, has been awesome and amazing to see. We want to give back to you. That's always what we're going to do, is just give back to you. And so, like we said, we have a big giveaway coming up at 1,000 followers. So now that we're close to 900, we're going to announce it, and then we're going to start pumping it up. We're going to give away a $100 Nike gift card, a new hat that we're coming out with the box logo on a hat, a bunch of other stuff that we can conjure up. But this will be a huge, great little giveaway for all of you guys to get us to 1,000 and all that stuff. So what you got to do, go on our post when we post about it, tag 3 friends and the Swoosh Life Podcast, and just grow our platform so we can keep giving back to you. And we want to just keep talking about Nike, shoes, golf, all of the above, that truly encompasses the Swoosh Life Podcast and just living the swoosh life. So go pump us up. We'll announce via an actual post at 900. And so we're really close. And by the time you're listening to this, we're probably already seeing this post. But if not, get us to 1,000, and then let's keep this rocket ship just going to the moon, and not to steal that from anyone else. Please don't sue us, Barstool. It's been really fun for us the past couple of years, especially starting off with Nick and now with Keith and Matt joining in for me. I've truly appreciated it. So thank you guys for all your support. We keep looking forward to it. And for the Swoosh Life Podcast, that's been I'm Gumby. That's been Keith. That's been Matt. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at the Swoosh Life Podcast to stay up to date on all things swoosh. And if you have any questions, comments, or business inquiries, please email us at the swooshLifePodcast@gmail.com. And lastly, give us a follow or review and become a supporter of the podcast at anchor.fm/theswooshlife/support. Thank you all for listening. See you in the next one.
Checks over stripes, yeah, that's what I like, yeah, that's what we like, yeah.